Okay guys, at this point you should have all of your objects that you plan to click and drag as symbols in your library. So over here I have folders because that's how I organize things, but um, you should have all of your symbols over here so that when you click on them you see them. So your symbols should be over here, should be have been created over here, but they should already be on your scene. If they're not, just click on them and drag them over here. As I said before, you can resize them with the scale option. But they should all be in your scene. You should have your background and everything ready to go. So that all you have to do is put the coding in. Now, as far as coding goes, it's very, very simple for this kind of game. So what you do is you click on whichever object you want to start with. So I'm going to start with Jupiter just because it's on the top. So I click on that and I'm going to go to Window and then click on Code Snippets. Now, like I told you, there is code that you write to make your game do what you want it to do. Thankfully, Flash already has these snippets of code written for us so that we don't have to write them. We just have to pick the one that we want. So we are doing ActionScript, so make sure when you have the code snippets window open that you go to ActionScript. And then what we're going to do is an action. There are a bunch of different codes in here that maybe we'll get to eventually. Most of them we won't. But there are some that we will get to eventually, but not for this one. For this one, all we're concerned with is actions. We want something to do something. So we're going to go there. Now you'll see that there are a bunch in here, and again, they each do their own thing, and maybe we'll get to them, maybe we won't. But in this case, all we want to do is the drag and drop. Okay, and thankfully it says drag and drop. That's very simple. So what you do is you just click on whichever symbol you want to drag and drop in this case, and you double click on it. And you'll see that up comes this actions palette. And you'll see that a new layer has been created called actions. Now it automatically does the code for you. Okay, and I could read that code off for you and tell you what it means, but it's not important for this class. All you need to know though is that what it's saying is that when I click on something, when I put my mouse down, it's going to pick it up, and then when I pick the mouse button up, it's going to stop dragging it. So that's all you have to do though. That's it. And then from there, you just go, if you move this palette out of the way, you can see the rest of your symbols. You just click on the next one, double click on it, and it just adds it in a list on that same frame. It's on Actions 1. It's on that frame 1. Okay, next thing I'm going to do Pluto. Double click, and there it is. Now the reason that you have to have these as symbols is because that's how the script or the coding works. So if they're not symbols, it's not going to work. So if you're doing this and you haven't created these as symbols, they're just objects, it's not going to work. So I'm going to click on Mercury, double click on drag and drop, and keep going. This is why it shouldn't take very long, because you have these all as symbols, so all you should have to do now is select them and double click. I'm going to do all of these, and then I'll show you how to test it to make sure it worked. Okay, so I think I have all of them. That's all I want to be able to do is click on these planets and drag them over. So now to test it, I'm going to go to Control and then Test Scene. I only want this scene. If you have multiple scenes, we'll go over that later, but each time you're just going to test the scene. Don't test the movie or it's not going to work yet. We'll get to that on Monday. So just click on Test Scene and it'll export it. And then you'll see it right here in its own little window, and you can resize that a little bit. So now I have all of my planets, and if I knew where they went, that would be great. That's the whole point. This is not an ideal game because obviously, oops, I forgot to do Earth. If you click on them and they don't move, that means that you didn't do it right. So you have to go back and make sure you do that. And the good thing, oops, that doesn't go there. The good thing is that it goes in order, so it's not super difficult to do these. So you can put them in any order. It doesn't have to be from the top down or whatever. So that's it. And if I wanted to move them back, I could do that. Just one thing though, if you realize, like initially when I did this, I realized that my planets were under these lines and I wanted them to be over them. Just remember that you can go back and change your symbols, and you can change certain things. So I went back and I made sure that all of my symbols were arranged in the front. You can still do all those things, all those drawing things that we did, and then save it, and then the action script that you already wrote will still be in effect. It doesn't need to be changed. But that's it. That's all you need to do. Okay, make sure that all of your objects or all of your symbols are on the background that you want. You click on each symbol, double click on drag and drop, and then you should be set. All right, that's it, and make sure you save that. And then on Monday, we will go over how to make the entrance screen.